Slip and Dip podcast.
Oh, beautiful, man. What is up, people? Welcome back to the Slip and Dip podcast, episode number 77. I am Matthew Wells. Alongside me, as always, my co-host Kendrick Johnson, coming to you late on a Sunday evening. Survivor Series, WWE, going on right now. Little Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar. Supposedly making his return to the UFC octagon pretty soon against Daniel Cormier. Looking a little twit. Looking a little tight, a little trim. Yeah, we'll talk about a little bit of that, all that stuff later. Kendrick, what's going on, my man?
I'm doing good, man. Good action sports weekend. I finally got over and subscribed to the Zone.
Oh yeah,
right?
You threw down for the Zone?
I got the trial. My bad.
For DAZN?
I got the trial. Got the confirmation you'll surely be in LA in 2 weeks for the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury fight. Your boy will be ringside in the house at Staples Center, which is a very cool place to go watch any fight. But I'm lucky I'm going to see that. So I popped up, got my confirmation behind the scenes. Shout out to PBC PR team, take care of me, Kev Swanson and company.
Yeah, nice, very nice. That's gonna be a hell of a fight, man. That's one of the best heavyweight boxing fights in decade. Yeah, jinx. But I'll be looking forward to that one, man. That's gonna be some fireworks. Good to hear you'll be in the building, taking it in live, hollering at Deontay in person.
Watch UFC Argentina. We friends of the show were mixed. Our girl Cynthia Calvia, everybody like freaked out in her weight cut. When it came time to do the damn thing, she's what's good about MMA and not minus the weight cut, but as far as her being the fighter, because she took what that girl had. She took her best shot, but more likely she took it from her. She's like, if you're gonna beat me, you're not gonna be kicking my head off like you done all these other girls. Mm-hmm. And then she got her down, and then that alpha male training went to work. Shout out to Justin Buckholz for putting that game plan in. She got up out of there. She's a finisher.
Yeah,
that transition was beautiful. It
was beautiful, and that's how she fights, man. She's scrappy as hell. She's gonna get you in uncomfortable positions, and she's gonna grind her way to get there. And that's what she did, and that's why she took that neck home with her too. But I want to talk about the weight cut for a second, man, because so many people are about, they're like, well, we got to find out why she missed weight. And I get that. I understand that. Like, it's not all about being upset at her for missing weight. Yes, there's reasons.
She basically, Buckholz told me through text that she had a period. Yeah. A lot of people understand is ladies can't lose weight with that because you don't train out, because you're loaded.
Absolutely.
It was more of a physical mechanism.
Those are absolutely facts. But my thing is, if we didn't have this ridiculous notion that you have to cut so much weight 24 hours before a fight, whether you're on your period or not, would never be an issue if people fought at their more natural weight. So, yeah, that's a valid excuse for missing on the day, and we shouldn't bash her for it. You can't. It just so happened the fight happened to fall when it was, that time for her. But maybe let's step back further than that. Let's address the whole reason we need, like, why are we doing weight cuts? Like, if you watch the video of her on the scale.
That was crazy that she almost fell off the scale.
Exactly. She almost fell off. And, I heard, I know that.
Shout out to our girl, Lene. Lene was out there holding the thing. I was like, they got Lene working. It's serious.
Yeah, it's bad because, like, she could barely move. Like, it's like, did y'all need to help her up on there? Like, it was bad, man. You can't have this going on in this fight. And it's not going to change until somebody dies in the UFC. And that's going to be the time where it's like, oh, we couldn't have seen this happen. It's like, no, we've been telling you this for years. Journalists have been telling you this for years. We're the ones putting this in your ear. And it's not just on the promotions. I know that in the commissions are the ones that actually regulate it. They are going to have to keep fighters from getting out of their own way, because fighters, as stubborn as they are, they won't unionize for one. They all recognize that weight cutting sucks. Not a single fighter says weight cutting is fun. It's my favorite part of this job. They all say it sucks. They all say they perform better when they have 10 or 15 more pounds of weight on them, which coincidentally is the weight that they fight on when they actually step into the octagon.
All right.
Fighters, I need you to come together on this. Stop cutting weight before something bad happens at the biggest stage of the sport. Please do something to make it happen. That's my rant over. I'll jump back on weight cutting next time somebody looks like they're about to die on the scale, which will probably be the next event. So there you go. I'm done with that rant.
It was definitely not a good look.
No, it's never.
Because it's like she's gonna look at that, and then she's gonna get back anybody. We're not trying to single out Cynthia, but anybody in that condition, then, oh yeah, you gonna get your head beat in, and then you gonna have to fight the next 24 hours later.
Right, exactly. But let's talk about a couple other matchups on the card.
Our other friend of the show, Neil Magny, shout out to Neil. Text him, say he's doing better. He's in good spirits despite the loss. Tough, hell of a dude. From a fighter standpoint, whether that take Neil out, Ponzinibbio did what he had to do, but it's kind of opposite of Cynthia. Neil never did take his big weapon out, and for me, if you're that guy, you get him out of there. He should have got him out in the second round. Mm-hmm. I know Neil's a tough guy, but you saw what those leg kicks were doing, and he was hell bent on trying to finish on the hands instead of just getting him out of there. And he kind of gave Neil a little bit of chances, but Tyron said it perfectly. Neil didn't follow the game plan. You saw the second and third round when he came out, he was pumping that jab like his corner told him how different the fight was.
Right.
But he couldn't do it for the whole 5 minutes. I don't know, because I can't say the stage is too big for him. We've seen him on big stages before.
Yeah, he's big on big
stages. I guess he was off last night. For me, like if he executed the game plan, the fight would have been 10 times easier. He still might have lost, but he wouldn't have got finished. I guarantee you that.
Yeah, and I mean it's tough, man, because I don't want to take anything from Santiago, man. He's been a beast for a while, and he's a guy that's climbing up that ladder ever slowly but surely.
Yeah, but you see that top 5
taking
though?
Names.
I don't think he matched up with any of those wrestlers, Kobe, Tyron, or Kamaru. Right? He don't want that. He don't want those problems.
That's gonna be the test.
He don't want those problems. They ain't gonna sit there and let you go do some pretty kicks and chop them down. And nah, that's like I think Neil could have got him down had he had a wheel. He didn't have a wheel.
Yeah. That's always a big thing, and we talked to that about one of our guests that we haven't mentioned yet on the show tonight. If you are. You're not watching on YouTube. We got Mark De La Rosa on the show returning, and Eryk Anders making his first appearance on the show. So we talked to both of them, and Mark De La Rosa, who fought a couple of weeks ago, talked about taking those tools away because he worked that leg kick early. He kept chopping at it over the course of 3 rounds, and that stuff takes a toll on your body. And that's kind of like one of the things, like you're saying, man. Like you work those kicks, man. You take away your ability to move, it's going to drastically change how you're able to execute what you want to do in the fight. So, I mean, you can't take away anything from Santiago, man.
No.
He did what he had to do, got his hand raised, and finished the fight in his hometown in front of his home people. The scene was incredible. It was electric. Santiago Ponzinibbio says he's taking the belt in 2019. I don't know if I believe him, but hey.
Get a shot first. or Tyron say, get your turn in line.
And shout out, if you're watching on YouTube right now, the new UFC website design flows so well with our graphics setup right now. It's amazing. I love it. It looks so beautiful on our screen right now.
The only thing I would say, the only critique I have of his performance today, like I said, people, do you realize, I know you watch more prelims than me, but people that are in the top 5, usually when somebody make a mistake, they make them pay, and they either use that to dominate the rest of the fight or get them out of there. Mm-hmm. You see people that might be coming up top 10, they might capitalize and don't. And like they said, there's levels to this. Those little bitty levels will cost you a fight. And that last night to me was a prime example. You got Covington hurt, and you doing that. Kobe might have one will, but he gets you down. You ain't gonna get him to get back up, and it's not gonna work like that.
Right. No, it's true.
And why was Neil on the damn cage all night, man? I could not understand that. My man got like a bionic reach, and he's like, I didn't understand that one.
I mean, I don't know.
And this dude's just throwing smoke.
Yeah.
He throws smoke.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want those problems.
Yeah, it's best to, usually try to stay away from having your back on the cage in those situations.
But when they fought in the middle of the octagon, they had a little moments, but those moments were in the middle of the octagon. So it's like, I don't think somebody with his experience was like, okay, I need to start doing these.
Yeah. I'm trying to find this GIF here, or this little clip right here of
hats off to Ponzinibbio. He did what he had to do and got the hand raised. I'm all about getting the hand raised. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about, because we see some people lately that should have got their hand raised, but for whatever reason, they want to get bold or do something crazy at the end.
Yeah.
And it didn't, so the man got his hand raised. That's all that matters.
It is. And I can't find the clip right here, but I did want to talk about.
That shout out to Clarissa Shields.
I did want to talk about Johnny Walker and we'll get to Clarissa in a second. But the last thing I want to talk about on this card, Johnny Walker knocking out Khalil Roundtree in the first round.
For disclosure, you already know what I say. When you don't pick up that phone, you know what happens. That's the 4th time in 2018. I'm going to leave it at that. He didn't pick up the call.
I'm not making that connection. Once again, I refuse to make that connection. I don't want to be associated with that stigma whatsoever. So I am not going to endorse that whatsoever. But I will say, Johnny Walker making his UFC debut, of course, all the puns were out there. If I take too many shots at Johnny Walker, I'll end up knocked out. Those were all clever, Twitter, very clever. But what I do want to talk about, lost in all that, is this Muay Thai clinch that he put on Khalil Roundtree was so nasty.
Very.
Like, that's one of my favorite things in MMA is, like, when the guy gets a lockdown Thai clinch on you and just controls you. And, like, no matter what you do, you can't get out. You can't get out. Like, that's my favorite thing. That has been my favorite thing ever since I saw Anderson Silva do it to Rich Franklin. So anytime I see a guy do that, I'm just like, yes, more, please. And it's such a tough thing to do. It's such a hard thing to do, to accomplish. I mean, we used to do that, when I was training. And man, if you can get that down, it's so devastating. It really is. And it's such a hard thing to do and do right. And that's what we saw Johnny Walker do. And of course, get that big knockout of Khalil. So again, not making that connection about being on the show or not. I refuse to do that.
I was just saying. You already know my favorite saying. What are the odds?
What are the odds? What are the odds? Yeah. What are the odds? But yeah. So once again, we do have Mark De La Rosa joining us back on the show once again. He got a big win over Chilby Sanchez, a split decision win, which is kind of surprising if you watch the fight. It was one of those questionable judges' decisions, but we'll get into that in more a second. And of course, Eryk Anders, he's coming off a loss, but he's got another big fight coming up.
Your boy!
Yeah, he's fighting Elias Theodorou. And if you're on social media, you obviously know Elias is all over social media, all over the place. He's a good dude though, but I mean, this is gonna be a tough fight for him, for Elias. That is, I think.
Yeah, Eryk, he's focused. He's out to in his 2018 with the exclamation point.
Yes.
He's coming to throw some smoke and get another bonus. So I want to be on the end of that smoke whatsoever.
Yeah. What were you gonna say about Clarissa a second ago? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
She is now the undisputed middleweight women's champion of the world. She's cleaned out like 2 divisions. That's crazy. She's only fought 7 times.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, like, people think because she's Olympian, she got this pedigree, that she just be knocking chicks out. She's just full on technical. And the crazy thing is, she changed with Cyborg, and that's why Cyborg is not knocking people out, but she's still getting them wins. So that's what we're gonna see at the end of the year. She's gonna put a clinic on her, man. In the new days, I'm calling it now. She went 4 rounds to 5 over into 1. She went 4 to 5 rounds. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy work.
Yeah. I mean, if you haven't watched Clarissa fight, I mean,
very technical.
It's amazing, man. Like she moves like no other woman that's fighting right now.
And she's super big. She's like what? She cuts. She's probably as big as Cyborg.
I'll say Cyborg is probably the closest to her in terms of movement. In their respective sports, so to speak. Because I mean, there's other female boxers out there, or women boxers out there that move as fluid, but they don't have the ability to connect with all the strikes and all the punches and everything like she does.
Yeah, the crazy thing about her, she reached her physical. She's just 23.
I know, it's crazy.
She ain't reached her physical prime, so she's gonna get better.
It's crazy. Yeah, man. She is a beast. She is a beast. She's very entertaining to watch. So. Keep your eye on her, and if you haven't caught on, I mean, you better get familiar, because we're all about paying attention to the biggest names in sport, regardless of promotion, whatever have you. I mean, there's a reason Floyd Mayweather and this isn't fighting tension. I mean, they're supposed to go out there and move around for 3 rounds, as so to speak. It's going to be a glorified sparring.
Did you really think that was going to happen?
No.
You hit me up by people on the boxing side, and like something just didn't feel right. And I listened to 5 minutes. I've been to multiple Floyd Mayweather press conferences. Yeah. I've been to his last 8 fights. If he ain't talking about money, which he did talk about at that press conference, that's red flag.
Listen,
yeah, your boy's gonna cash out with the 9-figure payday. He ain't say nothing like that.
Well, because they had zero confirmation about what was going to happen. Basically, the only thing they had set was the date. They didn't know what the rule set was going to be, who was getting paid, how they were getting paid. They didn't have any of that. And the only thing, like, I was like, if this is going to happen, it's going to be straight boxing. That's it. Like, there's no way he's doing any sort of thing where there's going to be any sort of kicks, no sort of clinch outside of, like, the boxing clinch that lasts, like, 2 seconds before the ref comes in and breaks you up. Like, that's it. Anything else, like, you're a fool if you believed anything else was going to happen more than that. So,
right.
Yeah. I mean, apparently it's back on for like a 3-round sparring match, which is just like, come on, what are you doing? What are you doing here, Floyd? I mean, I get it. Listen. I'm not that critical dude on Twitter that's like,
it's beneath you, Floyd.
Yeah, like
I saw people putting that on Twitter.
Everybody's like, there's so many people that are just like, well, what is Floyd's out there for a money grab, yada yada yada. Like, who cares? Like, half of y'all thought he was fighting Khabib next. So what does it matter if he goes and does like a little, like, let that man make some money? Who cares? Like I say.
Yeah, I saying. Why do people be worried about when people, like athletes, it's always all about the money, and then when they don't do something like Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon just left 14 million. Well, you care if he looks at him just for the money. He greedy. He just wanted the money. He don't come for the money. How could Le'Veon do such a thing? Like, why do people, like, care either way what these dudes be making, regardless of what sport it is?
And then they don't understand the whole... and they're talking like that, especially in the Le'Veon Bell situation. They're talking without understanding the full gravity of the situation. They use their running backs more than anybody in the NFL. Between Le'Veon Bell and this year, even James Conner, running them literally to the bone. And it's like... They're not getting compensated for it.
Yeah, James Conner so right now he dropping open touchdowns today.
Yeah, exactly. Wide open touchdown too. It had Big Ben flying in.
Like against his fantasy, so I was laughing.
Yeah. Hey, I needed that Big Ben touchdown, so I'm happy I got it. But yeah. Listen, if Floyd wants to go out there and fight tension for a sparring match, whatever have you, who cares? Let him do it.
He said, "Who cares?"
I'm serious. Like nobody was thinking like Floyd is still fighting in the prime, like, against the top competition out there. Like, no, we know those days are behind him. So if he wants to do all this exhibition stuff, I don't care. Let him do it. Like, I'll watch. You will watch too. So at the end of the day, who cares? But yeah, let's get to our interviews, man. Before you got anything else you want to get into?
Nah, man. Everybody have a good Thanksgiving. Unlike last year, we're gonna come back with the show. We already booking stuff up to have a nice quality show and lead into that Wilder Fury week. Absolutely.
And sorry, guys, we didn't have a show last week. We had some technical issues and, getting our guests lined up and everything. But back again for you, and then we'll be back.
One time a year. We have that's our one time a year.
It happens. It happens. It's all good. Once again, happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. And enjoy the rest of the show. Mark De La Rosa, Eryk Anders. Please subscribe on YouTunes. YouTunes? Did I say YouTunes? Please subscribe on YouTube and iTunes and Spreaker. Please leave reviews on iTunes. Give us that 5-star rating and leave a quick review just to improve the visibility on the show. And of course, those subscribes on YouTube's and those likes on the videos help out a ton as well. We appreciate you guys. Till next week. Peace.
Making a slip and dip debut. He's fighting at 205, but he will be returning to middleweight at UFC 231 December 8th in Toronto. Roll Tide, Mr. Eryk Anders.
Hey, what's going on, man? Appreciate you guys for having me.
Hey, we appreciate you, man. Talk about your year, man. You had a very active year with some ups and downs.
Yeah, I like to stay active. I don't like sitting on the shelf for too long. So I chomp at the bit and take every opportunity I can to get back in the cage. I'm 1-2 on the year. Definitely not my best year, but I think, I've definitely taken a step up in the level of competition that I faced this year. One of those losses was on 6 days' notice. So, in my other loss, very controversial. The internet thinks I won. Everybody but the 2 or the 3 judges thinks that I lost that fight. So, I think, to have 2 losses on the year, they're not bad losses to have. I think my stock went up in both, and I took home 2 bonuses this year. So, looking to get back in there in December and take home a 3rd.
I actually beat Machida for the record. So I guess me and Matt were both on those internet people. You can check us on NBA Decisions.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
talk about what did you learn from the Santos? So I know you took it on short notice, but like I never seen nobody so exhausted. How was it like to live that?
Man, I think, I just proved that I can hang with anybody, 6-day notice against a guy like Maheta, it's no easy task or easy out for anybody. That guy's taking a lot of people out who've had 2-3 months to prepare for him. So, I rolled the dice, came up short, but, I had a lot of fun, man. To be honest, that was my favorite fight that I've had so far in my career because I've had 13 fights, and he's the only guy who moved forward consistently. Everybody else kind of backpedals, runs, and Machida like kind of ran around the cage. So it was fun for me to get in there and scrap and throw down and brawl with somebody who was just as game and willing to do what I was willing to do.
Absolutely. And what was it like going into that hostile territory? Having to deal with the just the crowd. Like nobody's wanting to see you be successful at all. And then of course it ends the way it does. But was there any extra pressure from you in that when the fight was going on, or?
Nah, man. I don't feel any pressure, and the crowd is there to do what the crowd does. So totally expected. They're supposed to be there for their hometown guy. To be honest with you, I wish Americans would be more vocal towards the foreigners who fight here in America. But,
Dude, yes.
I think that, Brazil, they have some of the biggest and most passionate fans in the world. So, but to be honest, the Brazilians, they fuck with me real tough. My wife is Brazilian. I speak a little bit of Portuguese. A lot of them refer to me as the gringo brasileiro. So,
Okay.
I got probably more fans in Brazil than I do in America. So, I enjoy fighting in Brazil, even though those were two of my losses of came were in Brazil. But, man, I go back there in a heartbeat.
Yeah, man, you hit the nail on the head right there when you talk about like the fans being more vocal. I wish fans were more vocal, even like in America for American fighters when they're fighting foreigner. It's just like it just seems like everybody's just kind of like, all right, I don't like this dude even though he's American, so I'm gonna sit back.
Right, man. If you watch a Brazilian card, if a Brazilian's fighting, the Brazilian fans are pulling for the Brazilian, regardless of who they're fighting. It doesn't matter. Like, for example, when Chris Weidman fought Anderson Silva, nobody on earth was pulling Chris Weidman. I'm gonna say, why is nobody cheering for this dude? He's American, or they're fighting in America. So I don't know why it is like, I don't know why it's like that, but that's just kind of the way it is. So I appreciate the Brazilian fans.
Yeah, man, it's a big thing. It is a big thing. I don't know. I think it's just there's like a sense of entitlement. I think almost with Americans watching American. I don't know what it is. I think it's like maybe because our country's so divided and amongst so many different issues. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna cheer for the guy that I like, regardless of where he's from. And that kind of like patriotism, I guess, is kind of lost on when it comes to at least UFC fans.
Sure.
Kind of sucks. It does kind of suck, but.
Here's a two-part question, Eryk. How does your football pedigree and background from college to dabbling in the NFL help you get to this level so quickly? And when you see somebody or follow somebody like a Greg Hardy, do you think he has a chance to be a champion real quick just because of that background and playing at a high level and being just that freak athlete that you can't teach?
Man, I think that Greg Hardy stands a really good chance of being the champ. Especially one, he's a heavyweight. I think there's only like 33 or 35 heavyweights on the UFC roster, so it's a very shallow pool, first and foremost. Second, man, I don't care if that dude played football, basketball, soccer, or whatever he did before the NFL. Man, that dude, for a guy that size, moves really well on his feet. He's really strong and really explosive, has a lot of short area quickness, so I think he's going to be really successful off of that. And on top of that, that dude's an all-pro NFL football player, so he's excelled at the highest level in his previous sport. So he can be taught, he can learn. Guys just don't become Pro Bowlers just off of athleticism. So I'm sure he trains hard. I'm sure he's got a degree of intelligence. So I think for him, it's just getting him the right fights at this point. Because I don't think he had very much of an amateur career. So build that fight IQ, get that exposure and experience, and man, I think he's going to be tough to deal with in the heavyweight division. Man, but as far as football helping me, anyways, with fighting. I played football from 7 to, I think, 24 years old. So for, 18, 19 years or however long that is, I was constantly developing my body to be explosive, develop athletic ability, short area quickness, speed, and power. So I don't think I'm ever going to run up against anybody who's as strong as me, who's as explosive. Maybe somebody moves a little bit better than me, has better footwork or technique because they've been doing it longer. But when it comes down to the intangibles, football just gives you that grit, and that I don't move backwards. Like that's a foreign movement to me. So,
yeah.
I can't say that it didn't help, but. Football has always been good to me, and it's been great for me. And I'm certainly glad that I was able to do it at the highest level in college.
You live in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You should say Texas. We Dallas.
Okay, I see you a Cowboys fan, man.
Big win today.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I kind of along the previous question there, like when you transition to MMA. There's always that conversation, I guess, different types of shapes for different sport. Like you hear the football shape versus, what like other kind of sport. Was there a big difference for you when you started training MMA where you're like, man, like I've been in football shape before, but I haven't been in MMA shape? Like, was there something that like kind of stood out like that?
I don't think there is any kind of shape other than wrestling that's even close to MMA shape. Just because. There's a lot of when you wrestle, it's like static holds that you're trying to pin somebody. Wrestling for takedowns is probably the most exhausting thing on the planet. You see guys, they're training, but then they get tired in the fight from like wrestling and stuff like that. So, it's the cardio and the energy systems are totally different. I thought I was in shape when I played football, and then the first day I started training, I was like, whoo. I ain't got no lungs, man. So, it's and you see that all the time in fights, man. These guys, they train all day, every day, then they get in a fight and then they still get tired. You see guys in football who train, a pretty good bit, and they can go the whole game because there's breaks. You get 3 and out on defense. Quick scoring drive, you get in and out really quick. And I think the longest play in football, the average play is 6 to 8 seconds with a 30 to 45 second rest in between. And if you're resting for 45 seconds in an MMA fight, it probably means the ref is you're waking up asking somebody if you won. You probably got knocked out or submitted. There is no rest in MMA, so it's two totally different things.
Yeah, I think like one of the things that's kind of underrated is I guess like the nerves that come into it, right? Because like you said, like you're worried about getting knocked out in front of a million people versus in football it's just like, okay, execute the play properly and don't hurt myself or don't get hurt.
Yeah, in football it's like 80 plays a game, so if you mess one up, you got 79 more to go. And like I said, you get those rests in between. MMA, it's 5 minutes to go. And you don't get those breaks or rests or anything like that. And, you can be winning a fight. Just like you saw, I don't know if you guys watched that Yair Rodriguez, Korean Zombie, man. My dog was up 4 rounds to none and 1 second left, gets flatlined. So, you don't see that. They have the victory formation in football, No victory formation. You got to thug it out to the last second.
Since you know him personally, he fought a hell of a fight. Why don't people worry about getting the win and more about entertainment? Like, I'm about winning. Because if he just sits there and dances around, do a little Muhammad Ali, he gets the win. Or even like last night in the Ponzinibbio and Magny fight. He could have easily took him out in the second round. He's sitting here trying to put on a show.
Man, I think that Neil Magny's toughness is very underrated, and I think Neil Magny had chances to quit during that fight, but didn't, and it's dangerous, because you could be beating a guy up, beating him to a pulp, but right before the ref stops it, maybe he moves a little bit, so the ref lets it go a little bit, or he starts throwing back, so. At any point, Neil Magny could have closed his eyes, chucked one over the top, and knocked Ponzinibbio or however Santiago out. So, and the knockout is always looming in MMA, and the submission is always looming. So you're never just like all the way out of the woods, man. You can't just get up by 45 points and then send in the B team, But to answer your question, if you want to get paid, you got to be entertaining. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You see guys like, I don't know, maybe like Artem Lobov, right? He's not the greatest fighter. He's like 500. He's like 13 and 14. But he's still in the UFC because, man, whenever he comes to fight. And, there's everybody watching just to see if he's going to get the knockout or whatever. So, there's several guys like that on the roster. And entertainment value is how you get paid, but you also got to put those W's together as well.
Yeah. So speaking of that, I mean, you got your next opponent, Elias Theodorou. He's a guy who's probably the most active fighter on Twitter, trying to get his name out there. He's always on Twitter. Like, I don't think he ever puts his phone down. But, I mean, he at least gets that aspect of it. So I think there'll be some people, more interested than, another opponent that obviously that doesn't do that. But fighting skill wise, like what are you looking at when you watch film on him, or are you even a guy that watches a lot of film on your?
No, I watch film. I like to dissect my opponent, see what his strengths are, game plan accordingly, and expose his weaknesses and whatnot. I don't think it's any secret, man. He definitely tries to use his cardio as a weapon. He hasn't had a finish since 2013, I believe, so he doesn't have a lot of knockout power. Or he's not a submission specialist. But he does edge out decisions by holding guys against the fence and racking up points and scoring points. He's a point fighter. I am not. I'm trying to knock somebody's block off. I'm trying to step consciousness. So you have two contradictory styles going in there. And, we'll see who can go out there and impose their will and get the W.
How big a deal is it to win the fight and close off your 2018 with an exclamation point and to make a run at 185?
Man, this is definitely a must-win for me, in my opinion. I've already lost twice. I got one win, so I got to go out there and get this win. That's not going to change my game plan. I'm not going to go out there and just try and jab him to death or wrestle him to death. I'm going to still go out there and do what I do. But it's just something that I got to come away with. I can't let him hold me against the cage. I think his outside the cage, his open mat wrestling, I think I'm light years ahead of him. I think my wrestling is better. I think that's the only chance that he stands to win this fight is to hold me against the cage and pray that, he doesn't feel his left hand.
Yeah, absolutely. You have any reservations about going up to Toronto, being out there in the cold? Because last time I went to a Toronto pay-per-view, it was around about the same time of year. I think it was in December, and it was a blizzard outside, So is that going to, affect, cutting your weight the day before and stuff like that?
Man, I'm definitely not a fan of the cold, but, I'll be inside. The heat will be turned on. 125 degrees in the sauna is 125 degrees. So I don't think the weather outside is going to affect the weight cut or anything like that. Man, but I tell you what, in Brazil, the air is so thick, it definitely affects your cardio. But I don't see that being an issue in Canada.
Okay, so you usually do all the your weight cutting stuff inside. You're not one of the guys that goes around and runs, wherever you guys are. You try to get all it done indoors, or?
I would prefer to when I do run to run outside, but man, your boy not finna go outside when there's snow out. So, I get on the treadmill. I cut my weight in the bathtub, so, I don't think the weather outside is gonna, have too much effect on how that goes.
Where'd you get your nickname from? I always like that. Your boy, is it BOI?
Yeah. That's where I talk, man. And I'm not the only person who talks like that. There's several people who's like, when I'm at the gym, I'll be like, man, show this to your boy. Show your boy this move, or grab that for your boy, help your boy out. It just kind of stuck. So, here we are, your boy.
Yeah. So, how close are you with Dean Thomas? Because I know when you were up here at the pay-per-view, I was hanging out with Dean in the hotel lobby, and you came by, said what's up for a second. Like, have you guys, exchanged like ideas on stuff before, or you guys just cool?
Nah, man, we're super cool. He's real close with one of my teammates, Walt Harris. So, I know Dean Thomas from around the way, and we exchange pleasantries and insults. Same breath.
Yeah.
And we just have one of those relationships where, I've never trained with him. He's never coached me or trained me or anything like that. But, we just we click and we mesh. So, it's all cool in the game.
Okay, cool. How much football are you watching these days? Are you stuck in front of the TV on Sundays like we are?
Nah, not too much, man. Sundays is my, even Jesus, God rested on Sunday. So, that's what I try to do, man. I like watching stuff on Netflix, and, I try to get as much sleep, and I try not to even see the light of day on Sundays. So, Sunday's my chill day.
Do you keep up with your old boys and Coach Saban and company?
Yeah, man. They out there slaying the game. They probably gonna run away with another championship again this year, per usual.
Right.
Yeah. So I think this is the best team that Bama's ever seen, man. They got the offense and the quarterback to go along with the defense, and the special teams is on point. So, man, I just don't see nobody beating them, man. It's gonna be tough.
Did you play with Julio and them?
Yeah. I'm a little bit older than Julio, but Julio was there for a few years while I was there.
Oh, do you keep in touch with any of your football boys, or you just see them when you see them?
Julio's the guy. When I see him, and it's just like 2009. We pick up right where we left off.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Yeah, they're having Alabama's having a good year. Obviously, the Falcons just lost today, but we won't talk about that.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah.
He's a bad man.
Yeah, man. I didn't watch the game last night, so I'm not even sure if he played.
He threw for 340 and 3 tubs.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Standard.
Yeah, I think Tua is definitely going to run with the Heisman this year. I think it'll be their third Heisman. In like 9 years, right? Mark won in 2009. Derrick Henry won it a few years ago, and if Tua doesn't win it this year, it'll be a shame, man. I just don't. No one's lighting it up like he is, and man, he's just killing the game. I hope his knee, gets better, and he'll be able to play 100%, especially in this latter part of the season when you got the SEC championship, the Iron Bowl, and the playoffs.
Of course, you're full-time MMA, but like for instance, like when they do good, like they win, do you like get your a title shirt and stuff like that? Because that's something to be proud of right there. You be 60 years old. That's us up there, 09. So do you or do you remove yourself since it's like I've been there, done that?
I mean, nah. I think it's special anytime that Alabama wins a championship, man. You got, the names change on the jersey, but the game doesn't change. Alabama's going to do what Alabama does. Nick Saban's going to implement his process and, everything that he does, So I think as long as Nick Saban's at the helm, that, Bama's going to be pretty prosperous.
Yeah. Absolutely. Hell, it's hard to argue with that, man. It's hard to argue with it. There's just a factory of championships and Heismans and blowout wins week in and week out. But, that's Alabama football for you. My mom's a huge fan, and it's kind of annoying, but
it's definitely a good time to be an Alabama fan right now.
For sure.
And before we let you go, what round do you get your hand raised in on December 8th?
Man, I'm definitely looking to go out there and knock Theodora out, man. It's no secret my game plan. Whenever I step into the octagon, what I'm trying to do, whether I got to put my foot upside his head as he's trying to get up, or I touch him a few times with my left hand. So I definitely think I'm gonna get him out of there, and it'll really be a feather in my cap because I think he's had 17, 18 fights and has never been finished, and I'm gonna be the first one to do it.
Oh, there it is. UFC 231, December 8th. It's going down. Don't miss Eryk Anders against Elias Theodorou. Thanks for coming on the show, man. We really do appreciate it. Can't wait to see this fight go down and, of course, get your hand raised.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Appreciate you guys for having me anytime.
Hey, when you win, you got to come back on. Our thing for this year is you ball, you get the call. So you ball December 8th, we going to have to give you that call back.
Yeah, bro, you got the number.
And now joining us on the Slip and Dip podcast, coming off a win at UFC Fight Night 139 over Joby Sanchez, is Mark De La Rosa. Mark, what's happening, my man? Welcome back to the show.
How's it going, guys? Good. Enjoying all these victory dinners and all-you-can-eat food.
Absolutely, man. So how you feeling, a couple weeks removed from the fight out there in Denver? How are you feeling about the performance that you put on? Split decision. Were you kind of, I guess, frustrated hearing that it was a split decision when the fight was over as you're standing there?
Yeah, but I was a little frustrated whenever they judged that when the second judge when I knew it was going to be a split, but I knew I did enough to win the fight for sure. But I mean, I had an injury leading up to the fight. The day I signed the contract and accepted the fight, during training, one of my training partners was trying to drill the wrong move on me.
Oh, no.
And he ended up trying to do a wrestler chop to chop my base. He was supposed to suck me back, and he ended up hyperextending my left arm, and it popped. So I only got to throw my jab really during the fight. I didn't get to work at all fight camp, and it was very hard to attempt. When I was going for those takedowns, it was very hard to finish for sure.
I just feel how'd you change from this time last year, wanting to get into the UFC, and you ended up getting the fight with Tim and took the loss to getting 2 wins, and your stock is just rising, and this time a whole year later?
Man, it's exciting. It's actually crazy looking at from an outside point of view, because that was my first loss ever, really, and I learned a lot. I mean, I did learn a lot. I took the fight on 10 days' notice, and it was just me living in a sauna. I cut 26 pounds in 10 days for that fight, but I learned a lot about myself, and I definitely improved as a mixed martial artist. Yeah,
absolutely, man, absolutely. So I know the biggest talk about, the 125 division, 135 division lately is obviously the rumors, even though it hadn't been officially confirmed from the UFC, is that the division's going away, flyweight division's going away. So what have you heard, being from a fighter standpoint, what have you heard about this?
I mean, y'all probably know just as much as me what you see on the news and Facebook and stuff, but my manager has been telling me, I've been hearing the rumors for about 8 months, to be honest. I heard the news about Mighty Mouse switching over. I knew he was going to switch over 6 months ago. Sage Norcut's next, and I really don't know. I really don't know what to say about the flyweight division. I only have one fight at flyweight. All my fights are at 35. Yeah. I'm listed at 35.
Right.
I was never a 25er, according to the UFC, but I still got my contract, and I'm excited to keep fighting.
Yeah, I mean, what do you kind of make of it? Because it seems like the guy that was holding the belt for forever finally loses the belt, and it seems like the UFC was like, finally we can get rid of this. That's the way it seems. It comes off to us. It's like, okay, we now have a reason to get rid of these 125ers, even though, I saw the number the other day, flyweights won fight of the night, it had it listed at least 12 times or whatever. So I mean, the fights are always exciting, but.
Yeah.
I know, like you said, most of your fights have been 135, but you can make 125. You can fight at 125. Now that option's not there anymore. But you still, cool with fighting, with that option just being no more.
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool fighting without that option, but it was kind of disappointing when I heard about it, because I know I can crack top 10 real quick at 125. The road, there's the 35 division just a little bit deeper. So it means, I'm gonna have to go on a 5-6 fight win streak to start making some actual big noise. As if I was in the flyweight division, a good 3, max 4. I'm ready to knock the door at top 10.
Gotcha. How old are you, Mark? I know you're not even 25, are you?
No, I just turned 24.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Do you have like a timetable? Because you're a very calculated fighter. I'm pretty sure you can pretty calculate it outside the cage. What would be your timetable? You think like this would be the perfect time to be in that top 3 to be able to get a title shot? Like you can just go out and touch that opportunity. What age would you like to be?
Oh, I want my goal when I first started. I said I'll be in the UFC by the time I'm 23. I was in the UFC now. I made that goal possible. I had a goal. Getting my record all the way to what it was, and now it's around 26, about 26. I just want to prove myself, and I know it's hard. I wish I could fight every 3-4 months, so that's why I'm gauging it that long. If I was fighting 3 times a year, I would say next year I would say 25.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got a focused young man.
Yeah, of course. And we see in the performances like the last fight. We see little improvements here and there, like little things like you start checking that low leg kick early, wearing your opponent down, things like that, and just slowly like calculated approach to the fights, where it's not like a thing where you go out there and just like wail away on swing for the fences. Some people like that kind of style, but it's not good for your overall health and everything. But when you're looking at guys like Joby, like, are you approaching it as like, okay, this is a guy where I know that leg kick's going to be there all night and I'm going to start chopping at it earlier? Like, was that part of the game plan going in?
Oh, yeah, that was definitely part of the game plan. His stance was super wide, and I knew that calf kick was going to be there. And I had to throw a little bit more kicks, use my right hand a lot more due to that injury on my jab, which my jab is my main weapon. It was hard for me to set up my shots. It was hard to set up the right hand. But, I made the best of the one hand I had throughout the whole fight. But no, Joby, he was a veteran and he moved a lot, so I knew I was gonna start attacking his legs. He's a 25er, but he has a big frame for 25. He's a big guy. He makes everybody look small. He made me look small. But I knew chopping that leg, and every time you watch my fights, they're different every time. Sometimes you'll just see jiu-jitsu. Sometimes you'll just see a wrestler, jiu-jitsu guy. You'll just see a wrestler. Other times it's just me just boxing the entire time. This fight wasn't my best performance as far as how I am in the gym when I'm slipping, I'm countering, I'm doing slick stuff. This was more of a dogfight for me. I was just marching him forward because his jab was faster than I thought. I only had 2 weeks really to prepare for this fight. I had 5 days to prepare for Joby and an injured arm and stuff. So I made the best of what I had, and I made this fight was a little bit more uglier. It took a little more damage than I wanted to, but it was exciting. When I rewatched, I've watched it over 100 times now, and it was exciting. I just kept marching him down and going forward, and it's good to see that side of me too, because everybody sees a technical side, and I don't get hit that much. But this one, I was getting hit and marching his ass down.
That is to my question. How does it feel to not be 100% and outwork him? And then it seemed like in the first round, like you were feeling good and was throwing weapons of abandon. They like made a little gif out of y'all on UFC on Twitter.
Yeah, it's my coaches. Coach Tony Cabello and Mark Montoya. They tell me the same stuff every time. They believe in me so much, and they're always in my ear, just telling me how great I am, how great I'm going to be. When you get in that cage, take the center of that octagon. That's yours. He's your bitch. That's your center of the octagon. If he gets in that thing, he better be ready to die. He better be ready to bite down on that damn mouthpiece. So, you can tell. If you watch all my fights, they're always different. That was a different side of me. I went straight forward. I wasn't trying to back up, trying to counter. I went straight forward. I just felt like, I needed to bestow my dominance on his ass.
You stood in fight mode, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man, it definitely showed, and that's one of the things I was really taking notice of. I was like, man, Mark's like really pushing the pace here, and the fact that, I could kind of see how you maybe the judges scored the third round for Joby because he started sticking and like getting out a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
But for somebody to give him 2 rounds, I was like, what is going on here? That's a little strange because the first and second round were clearly yours, so. Just to see that was a little strange.
One of the judges was like 29-28. Second one was 29-28 him, 29-28 me, and then one scored at 30-27 me. It I was like, I don't know what's going on right now.
Yeah,
It's such a
it's all weird. It's all weird.
Talk about that.
It's different.
Oh, your sound cut out. I don't know if you can you
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right.
How's it just when you be waiting for those numbers to come out? How's that anxiety? Like, you didn't done enough, but if anybody else think you done enough.
Man, my coaches. That's all I can say. My coaches, they do all the numbers for me. They figure everything out. They tell me what to do, and I just do it. I mean, that's just plain and simple. I got my coaches. They're really good. I got a really good circle, and they're really good at giving me the correct advice, and I trust them enough to do it in the cage and try to do it live.
So what's next for you, man? Because I know, like, you were talking about how, I've taken enough short notice fights. Like, you want a full camp for your next one. I mean, I know, like, as fighters, like, you say things, and then the next day UFC might call you up and be like, hey, we got a fight for you in 4 weeks, 3 weeks. Are you going to say no, or is it just going to be like, hey, please respect my wishes this time. Like, I want a full camp. What's going to be the way you handle it?
No, it's the same way I handled this one. I was itching to fight. Luckily, I was already training and stuff with Johnny Hendricks, trying to help him out for his, so doing a lot of running, and I was putting in a lot of boxing and stuff, and I was already grinding in the gym like I had a fight coming up, and then they offered me Jordan Espinosa on 2 weeks' notice, and I was confident enough in my training, and I was in really good shape. Because, there's two different kind of shapes. Whenever I'm out of fight camp, I'm just eating. I'm eating normal food and eating a pizza and going to the gym. And I train every day. It's just the way. If I'm in fight camp, it's a strict diet. If I'm not in fight camp, I'm enjoying life and eating, but still training.
Yeah.
What's the biggest you ever get? Because I said you like nowhere near a fight. You've never been there ever been. You stay in pretty good shape, don't you?
Oh yeah, I stay in good shape. I'm always in good shape. But I get up to. I get up to like 20, 25 pounds above the weight class.
Is that going to go out the window next week for Thanksgiving or what?
I'm gonna eat. I've skipped Thanksgiving for 3 years. That was another big reason I took this fight on 2 weeks' notice. Because you never know. Even whether I got a fight or not, I never know really. When I was outside of the UFC, if I was gonna fight or not. And usually I was always fighting in December. So yeah, I'm gonna enjoy Thanksgiving this year because I've skipped it for 3 years and I'm gonna eat so much.
Can Montana cook?
Oh yeah, she can cook.
Do you cook any, or is it all her? That's the real question.
I'm sitting down and eating.
That's the real question. I gotta know. Can Mark throw down in the kitchen or not? Like,
I can throw down in the kitchen. When it comes to food, steaks and stuff like that. But the Thanksgiving stuff and all that, the holiday stuff, I leave it up to them.
Okay, all right. Trying to pull out some secrets here. See where your range is in the kitchen, man. But hey, if you can make a good steak, are you? Do you make your own marinades and all that stuff, or is it just like I know how to get the right temperature and stuff I want?
Well, both. I know how to marinate, soak them, and right temperature, and so many minutes on this side, that side. I got a whole little journal.
Okay, all right, nice. We need you to throw down for us for the Slip and Dip podcast one time.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I just got sponsored by Victory Beef. I think they're out of Tennessee, and oh man, they send me so many steaks and ground beef, kinds of stuff.
That's legit, man. So how does that work? Like, is it like a monthly thing they send them to you, or is it just like, hey, send me some stuff, or?
It's a monthly thing. They send me stuff monthly.
Okay, that's legit.
Oh yeah, I've been eating steak every day. I've been eating good every day.
Yeah, well,
especially now going for 35 now, so I can afford to get a little bigger.
So I see you got the steaks.
I was trying to stay under 50.
Yeah. So I see you got the steaks. You got the CVD sponsor. Any other sponsors that's hooking you up? Inside or outside of camp?
Oh yeah, I got a Old South Pancake House out there on Horn by TCU. The owner over there, Big Rex, he's been helping me out, and I eat there for free anytime I want. Pearl Snap Kolaches sponsors me. I've been getting a lot of support and stuff from local businesses in my neighborhood and stuff, and it's been great. It's been real great. It's crazy how still humble and stuff, but it's still crazy when I just like my daughter goes to school down the street, and I walk outside. I got people stopping, honking. Oh, great fight, man! That I've never even seen before. I got teachers coming up to me like, "Oh, great fight, shaking my hand, and just showing me respect and saying that they know what I do and stuff. It's crazy.
Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. And it can only go up from here, man. You keep racking up those dubs, man. More eyes, more people start noticing you, especially around town, obviously.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, is it rest of the holidays? Obviously, Thanksgiving coming up. You know, you got any big Christmas plans or anything like that?
Oh man, my daughter's been keeping me busy. She just competed in wrestling this past Saturday, kicked butt. We're gonna celebrate Thanksgiving Wednesday, and then we're driving all the way out to Amarillo. It's a 6-hour drive from Fort Worth because she has a big old nationals tournament in Amarillo. So it's a really big tournament. So that's what we're doing this weekend for Thanksgiving.
Will she be in octagon in like 2035?
I don't know. Hopefully, we'll see.
How big are those tournaments? Like, how many people are competing in those?
They're huge. They're big. I mean, over 800 competitors, over 800 wrestlers. Jeez. Like the brackets. She went last year, and I want to say there was like 40 something just in her bracket. Like, I mean, it's big. It's a big tournament. People come in from everywhere, California. They come all over for these to go to Amarillo next week. It's like Panhandle Nationals or something. It's a very big tournament for them.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, we've seen the videos you posted up on social media. She's a beast, man. She's a beast. She's got some good coaches in her corner.
Yeah, little Z, she got it. She has no fear.
Oh no, she goes.
Yeah, man, for sure. Well, Mark, man, thanks for coming back on the show, man. Congratulations on getting your hand raised once again. And,
hey guys, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we look forward to your next fight, man. Can't wait to see you get back in there.
Yeah, thanks for your time, brother.
Thank you. Later.
Peace, man.